Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the channel. On today's episode, we'll be creating a logo for a coffee roasting brand called Ember and Hook Coffee Roasters. Now, the full brand identity project for this brand is already up on Behance, so you can check it out in the description below. There is also a separate video coming soon that walks through the entire branding process and how it all came together. But for now, let's not waste any time and jump straight into the brand basics. Now, Ember and Hoke is a boutique coffee brand that focuses on sourcing and roasting high quality beans with real care and attention. Their whole approach is built on sustainability, community, and a deep respect for the craft, especially the roasting process itself. Now, emphasis on the roasting process. When we first started working on the project, we wanted to understand what truly makes them different. And that took us right to the heart of their work. The transformation the coffee beans goes through during roasting. We studied the entire journey from harvest all the way through the different roast levels, from light to medium to dark. And that's when everything started to click. It lined up so perfectly with their name. Ember represents the heat and energy that transforms the beans at every stage, while Hook stands for that grounded, natural character at the core of the brand. Now, our goal was to capture that sense of transformation in the logo and the overall identity. In this video, though, we are focusing only on how to design the logo. We will dive deeper into the full identity in the second video that is coming. So let's dive into it. Now, there are two major fonts that I'll be using in this project, which are the fonts that were selected for the brand, and the names are Larkin and Hapona. So let's just select them. So just as we've seen from the previous slides at the beginning of the video, the goal is to create a coffee bean that would represent the brand identity and at the same time showing the process in the coffee beans. So that is why we have the overlapping layers to the left side of the logo. It shows the process from the beginning to the end, revealing the actual beans that goes into making the coffee. So we'll be using a medium weight, and the letter O will be the base for the logo. So Shift Control O to create the outline. Now there are a few things we need to do here. We need to adjust the inner width so that we can make the coffee bean to actually sit inside the letter O, and at the same time we need to make a duplicate that will serve as the overlapping layers. So let's create the duplicate first. Put this aside. So what we want to do here is to capture the overlapping layers so you can group them. Now before we create the overlapping part, let's work on the inner part first, because the overlapping part needs to follow the same curve as the outer body of the coffee bean itself. So what we want to do is we want to expand this so you make sure it remains accurate. Now at this point we want to draw the inner curve for the middle of the coffee bean. So we have the thin section above, the white section in the middle, and the thin section below, and subtly you can see the bean shape forming already. Now back to the guy we placed outside. So this point is very tricky, because what we want to do is we want to make sure this curve follow the outer shape of the coffee bean, and at the same time the width at this middle should equal the width that goes all the way out. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a circular shape to complement the already semicircle in the middle. So the next step is to build the shape. Now I only create one of the overlapping layers, because after building the shape we'll just create a duplicate and move to the left. So all we need to do now is to measure the space in between these. So after measuring that space, just bring the square to the outer side. Make sure it sits on the back of this, and then you can drag to create a duplicate. Now at this point we're not done yet, because we still need to make a few tweaks to the coffee bean. We created multiple lockups for the logo, the word mark only, the full word mark, the logo mark and the word mark, an horizontal version, then a vertical version of the logo mark and the word mark, and then a full scale size emblem. Now we did not make any much changes or tweaks to the brand name. So we have the plain word mark, the full word mark, the horizontal lookup, and the vertical lookup. So these are the different logo variations that's expected to be included in your brand package when you're delivering. Now, on a separate video, we'll cover the emblem design. This particular one you're seeing on the screen, the video should be out over the next few days, how to create the emblem logo. So as not to waste much of our time, I'm going to speed this up in adding the colors and exporting. So just work with me. That is the very most easiest way to design a logo. A quick tip you should know is that the beginning of a logo is not your Adobe Illustrator software or your vectorizing software. You should know that the beginning of a logo starts from the ideation point. Just like everything I explained at the beginning, how we took a deep dive into what the brand respects itself, which is the process of coffee roasting, the transformation process from the harvest point to the final point where it can then be turned into the actual coffee we drink. Now, that is what the brand respects. So that serves as the base, as a foundation point for us to start the ideation process. And at the end of the day, we end up trying to make sure every asset of the brand's identity captures that process. So every logo mark does not begin from the vectorizing software. It begins from the ideation process, the brainstorming process, the process where you've gone through actually brainstorming multiple ideas, concepts, and variation. The best way for me, though, is to go through sketches on paper. So before any project, I always begin with a pencil and paper because it's very easier to put down the ideas before you actually come to the digital space. Over the next few days, the tutorial on designing the emblem will come out, and then finally the full brand identity design process. So I hope you've learned one or two things today. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.